Today's story is about what happened in 1988 Seoul Olympic, where Roy Jones Jr. faced Park Se-hoon in the light middleweight boxing final. So clearly, Roy Jones Jr. absolutely dominated the match, landing 86 punches to punch Park's 32, and even delivering a standing count. Now, despite this, judges handed a 3-2 split decision to Park, sparking widespread outrage. It was one of those results we kept wondering, what were the judges on? What is this? It remains one of the most controversial decisions in Olympic history. You see, as a result of that singular action, 2 judges were banned for life and 1 was suspended. Controversy led to the reform of Olympic boxing scoring system to improve transparency and reduce corruption. Roy Jones Jr., despite the loss, received the Val Bika Trophy as the most outstanding boxer of the tournament. Now, I think the story gets interesting 35 years later, where a powerful act of reconciliation by Park Se-hoon, who traveled to Jones's ranch in Florida in, I think, May 2023 to return the gold medal to the man who arguably earned it through his son, who was a translator. In his words, "I had the gold medal, but I wanted to give it back to you. It belongs to you." The emotional thing was captured on a video that's shared on Roy Jones' page. Jones, visibly moved, broke down in tears. He later referred to that fight as one of the biggest controversies in boxing history, expressing gratitude for the long-awaited act of justice. So let's not forget, this act of justice was simply done by the man who had the medal. Nobody asked him to give him the medal, but I had to go deeper and ask questions like, why would someone have to give back a gold medal after 35 years? There were several things I saw, but the most important part that got me thinking, imagine yourself, for decades, Jones carried that loss. It wasn't about the medal, it was about being denied what he believed he rightfully earned. Then 35 years later, Park Se-hoon, the opponent who was awarded the gold, shows up in your ranch and gives you back the medal, saying it belongs to you. It tells more about him. It tells more about Park Se-hoon than any other thing. And come to think of it, I didn't think too much. I said to myself, South Koreans are interesting humans. But what did he see made him return this medal after 35 years? Come with me. Clearly, to him, it had more to do with personal conviction. I believe in South Korea, honor and integrity are highly valued, and individuals often strive to uphold this principle. Park Se-hoon's actions may have been motivated by that. I said may have been because technically you don't hold something for 35 years like that and make a decision. I don't think that decision was made that day. It came as a result of constant reflection and asking yourself questions. So how many of us have things in our custody that don't belong to us, but we've been drowned by the voices of people who we have no business to listen to? How many of us still have a voice of our conscience that we must listen to? Because the voice of the conscience is what makes a man hold a medal for 35 years and return it. Because that's the only explanation. No government, no Olympic asks him to return the medal. So I think for him, he really wanted to rectify justice by saying Roy Jones Jr. was the rightful winner and make amends for the controversies. He wanted to find personal closure. People said he kept having depression and sleepless nights, but I will agree that he was a man of strong conviction and strong values. Possibly one of his strongest values was never to cheat anyone. And as long as he lived, and knowing that he broke his own personal code of conduct, it would taunt him for the rest of his life. So many of us don't even have moral compasses to remind us of things like that. So many of us would rather drown that kind of voice. But I think his story reminds us that we're human and we must have our own personal code of conduct that remind us of who we are. Our yardstick should not always be what the world says, because at the end of the day, the world could also be wrong. So, I'll ask you one simple question. Have you ever felt robbed before, robbed at work, credit, something you did, someone taking the recognition, an opportunity. How did you handle it? So if this was you, how would you have handled it? I respect the South Korean. I respect Roy Jones also. What if he was dead? So this is a reminder that some decisions in your life has very little to do with the accolades of everyone, has more to do with your conscience and the things you stand up for. Don't let unfairness also stop your greatness. You keep showing up, both men and coaches in their own respective ways. But this singular act reminds us of the vulnerability of us and why we should never let the voices of others drown our own voice, because that's what counts. That's what makes you sleep well at night. It's a new week. Cheers to every reaction that keeps your head afloat. I'm rooting for you. My name is Charles.